Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County Forum. We are focusing on candidates who will appear in the 2021 primary election. This forum is for candidates for mayor of the city of Everett. I'm your moderator, Lynn Carpenter, member and past president of the League. And our candidates are for City of Everett Mayor are Steve Oss and Cassie Franklin and Ron Whittock. The League has, as always, invited all the candidates. Ron Whittock will not be participating in this forum. The League thanks these candidates for running for office, for their willingness to serve the community if elected, and for participating in this forum. It is the policy of the League to be nonpartisan. Therefore, we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or parties. We do take positions on issues that we have studied and on which we have reached consensus. So you both received the ground rules for this forum sent ahead of time. And let me briefly explain the question and answer period. The first two questions have been shared with the candidates. They are designed as an introduction to each candidate's qualifications and strengths. I will pose the questions. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond. And then the fourth and final question will allow a 90-second response. We are using a countdown timer that is visible to all candidates. It shows elapsed time, signaling when there are 15 seconds left. And the time limits on the answers will be strictly enforced. When you see the timer turn red and hear the chime, you are done. I will change the starting order for each question, alternating between the two of you. The order for the first question will be Mr. Oss and then Ms. Franklin. Mr. Oss, I'm sorry, I'm going to have trouble with that. Let's begin. Mr. Oss, what are the major responsibilities of this office and what skills are needed to perform them well?
For the mayor's office, the first thing, you have to be committed completely to the city of Everett. The welfare of the citizens and visitors to the city of Everett has to come first. Being clear in communications with the citizens and with the employees of the city, being able to have directives that are beneficial to the goals that we want to achieve, and make sure that those goals are achieved by all of the subordinates following through on the tasks that have been given them. We have to be able to be a good leader. We have to be able to make that leadership be a thing that is recognized and respected. I have a lot of leadership training, and I recognize that my time is now done.
Thank you. Ms. Franklin, what are the major responsibilities and what skills?
Yeah, thank you. You know, the mayor is responsible for running the city. The city of Everett is the largest city north of Seattle. We're the county seat. We're a full service city, which includes our police, fire, parks, public works, transit, regional water utility, and a multiple of other departments and services that our residents rely on, from libraries to planning to community programs and cultural arts. But I think in addition to all of that, one of the biggest responsibilities of the mayor is doing everything you can to ensure the health, safety, and well-being of our residents. And I think we saw this really clearly this last year as we faced, you know, unimaginable hardships with the COVID-19 pandemic. People lost loved ones, businesses closed, we had to stay isolated, and we all struggled to get through this pandemic. And so I think that doing what you can to protect your community is a responsibility that the mayor needs to have. You need to be able to collaborate with other leaders and lead in both good and bad times. Thank you.
And now, Ms. Franklin, the next question, what are 2 or 3 major issues that need to be addressed by the Everett City Council?
Thank you. You know, in the strong mayor form of government, Everett City Council is tasked with policymaking. They're the legislative branch of government, and I'd say one of the biggest issues that needs to be addressed by the City Council is the structural deficit. The city has had a structural deficit for years with expenses outpacing revenues. In my office, I've reduced staff, changed services, changed program delivery models, and made it a lot of difficult choices. But that's not enough. And now it's up to the council to decide how to tackle this deficit long-term through major changes in how we deliver services or exploring revenues, such as moving to an RFA, potentially merging with community transit or a property tax levy lift. Another major issue that I think our council needs to look at is districts. We have districts now, voters approved it, and that changes our governance structure, and it changes how we will work together and how the council represents the community. It's very important, and I think we need to spend some time on what this new collaborative model will look like.
Thank you. And Mr. Ost, tell us what 2 or 3 major issues are.
Well, as Mayor Franklin mentioned, the deficit that we have is a huge burden on the city, and we do have to get that addressed. The mayor needs to work very proactively with the council and make sure that there is a budget that is going to address that $18 million deficit and get rid of it, and without taking away from the services that are provided. And I believe that it can be done. I don't think it can be done in a year, but I think we can do it in probably 3 years without a big attack on our services that are provided. Some other things, we need to get the downtown revitalized. We have to bring businesses to the point where they feel like it is a place where they want to be, a place where this is a place where business can thrive. And the homeless issue that we're seeing down there, it needs to be addressed. And there are things to do.
Thank you. And Mr. Ost, the next question goes to you. What qualifications and experience make you a strong candidate?
I have been a business owner in the city for several years. That was several years ago, but I successfully ran a business in Everett. I have been a union leader for 16 years, and it's taught me a lot about how the city works and things that the city should be doing and is doing, things that we can do better. And the city exists to provide services to the citizens and visitors in Everett. And in recognizing that, we have to make sure all of the city employees are doing and providing services to the citizens. Whatever it is, whatever the title is, they have to recognize that. And in my military career, I had 14 years in the military. I had a lot of leadership, a lot of direction giving, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. And Ms. Franklin, what qualifications and experience do you have?
Well, I'd say my career has been defined by leadership and service. Prior to being in elected office, I spent years in the nonprofit sector, helping in areas of education, housing, homelessness, animal welfare. I had worked on a number of regional and national boards and commissions to tackle major issues. I served on our council for a couple of years, leading some of our work as council liaison in housing and homelessness, and worked on a number of other boards and established Everett as a safe city. And then in 2017, I was elected mayor of the city as the first woman to serve as mayor. And I've led the city successfully during probably our most challenging time in our lifetime. Since taking office, I've led a number of bold initiatives for economic development, fiscal sustainability, reducing gun and gang violence, and equity and inclusiveness, but really helping our city thrive and successfully get through this pandemic, I think, is one of the most significant accomplishments.
Thank you. Now, our fourth and final question, for which you will have a minute and a half to answer, is what have we not asked you that you would like to bring to our attention? Ms. Franklin?
Yeah, thank you so much for this forum and the opportunity to speak with you all. I think I started to touch on the some topics in the last question you asked. Since taking office, I've issued a number of mayoral directives as mayor to begin a number of initiatives that I think have made a significant difference in our community. The city had long had a structural deficit, and I've brought that challenge to light, and we have made significant headway on that issue and are working towards sustainability. And I think our council and our community are ready to make a decision to ensure the future sustainability of our city because of the work that I've done. I think we've also seen the challenge of housing and homelessness increase over the last year and a half in this pandemic. And during that time, while we're keeping the community safe in the pandemic, we have been working behind the scenes to address this issue. Just today, I was able to go visit the new pallet shelter community that will be open next week. This was 2.5 years in the making. It's challenging to address these very difficult issues of homelessness. They're complex, and it takes time and collaboration. And I think we are starting to move in the right direction to ensure housing for all in the city. And I love this community dearly. I look forward to continuing to serve and continuing to make progress in housing equity, economic development, and overall vitality. Thank you.
And Mr. Oss, what have we neglected to ask that you would like to bring to our attention?
Everett is my home. It's been my home. It's been my parents' home, my grandparents. I take great pride in Everett. The only time I have not lived in Everett was when I was serving our country, and I was away from Everett at that time. I want to see Everett become the solid city that it was in the past when I was growing up here. And I know we can't go into the past and become in the past again. But what we can do is start making changes so that it's better like it was. The deficit we've talked about, and there are things we can do about that. And it doesn't mean we tax more. It means we get more in taxes through the businesses succeeding better. We have 130 years of our leaders in the city adding assets to the city. We have a transit agency which the city has had for close to 50 years now. And that is a great asset most cities don't have. And our administration is looking at it going away. And it brings money into our general fund. It is a way to help fight the deficit. With it, we can help at fires where we give shelter for the displaced people from the homes. Transit does an awful lot. Our fire department, we should keep that.
Thank you. Well, this concludes our forum. A recording of this forum will be available on the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County website and YouTube channel, and will be aired on KSCR 90.7 FM. You can find a full schedule of candidate forums at LWVSNOHO.org. That's the League of Women Voters website. We encourage everyone to explore additional information about these and all candidates. The Snohomish County voter pamphlet will be mailed to residents starting July 14th, and your primary election ballots will be mailed on July 15th. Election day is August 3rd. Please vote. Again, thank you for joining us.